welcome to another Retro Core 5. This is a show where we take a look at one particular piece of hardware and see if the games are worth playing and if the machine itself is any good. Today we're going to be taking a look at this, the Sega Game Gear. Oh yes. Now a lot of people seem to think that the Sega Game Gear is just a pocket version of one of these, Sega Master System. How wrong they are. The hardware is quite similar, but they do differ quite a bit. Let's take a look.
Sega Game Gear!
Taking a look at the specs of the Game Gear, we can see that it has a much better color palette, 4096 compared to the Master System 64. The resolution is different, but it does come with stereo sound, unlike the Master System. To power the machine, you have to feed it 6 AA batteries. Oh yes, and this thing eats batteries in no time. 6 batteries, about 3 hours of gameplay. Games come on these lovely cartridges with full color labels that slide into the back of the machine and feel nice and flush. Don't they look nice? Talking about the games, the Japanese games come in full color boxes with artwork over the entire front cover, unlike the Western ones which had that border around them. Japanese games also come with full color manuals, again unlike the Western versions. The manuals are extremely detailed and are pretty much like those found in Japanese Mega Drive games. Loads of information, loads of screenshots, and loads of lovely artwork. Beautiful, aren't they? Just look at the front cover of that, and on the back, we've got to have some helpline phone numbers.
Sega Game Gear!
So now you know what the difference is between the Sega Game Gear and the Master System. Now it's time to take a look at some games. Now normally here on the Retro Core channel we use only original hardware, but let's be honest now, filming the screen on this thing is not going to be ideal, is it? So we're going to be using FPGA, the next best thing, better than software emulation at least. Let's start off with taking a look at this game here. This is Aladdin. Unlike the Mega Drive Aladdin game, which was developed by Virgin Interactive, or the Super Nintendo game by Capcom, this Game Gear version of Aladdin came from Japanese developer Sims. Now you may not know, but Sims are responsible for many an impressive title, such as Stellar Assault SS on the Saturn and Tempo Jr. on the Game Gear. Aladdin follows in the quality footsteps, bringing us a game full of excellent animation and colour. Not only that, but the attention to detail is outstanding. Backgrounds are lush with little details. In-between cinematics are well done, resembling the movie. The audio also follows the movie quite closely and sounds great for the Game Gear. Of course, all of these details wouldn't be worth anything if the game sucked. Thankfully it doesn't. This isn't a game you can just rush into though. There are loads of sneaky deaths, so learning the stages is key to survival. It's kinda like Prince of Persia in a way, only far more basic. Yet another quality game for your Game Gear. We all know Knuckle II or Streets of Rage 2 on the Mega Drive, but have you ever played the Game Gear port? Man, this is one impressive fighter! I had so much fun with this one. Based upon the Mega Drive original but slightly arranged, this port gives the player all the excitement of the original. Sure, the number of enemies is maxed out at 3, however the game does really well at keeping the action flowing. So much so that you don't really notice the lack of enemies on screen. The gameplay has been simplified a little since the Game Gear only has 2 buttons, but that's not to say the specials are gone. No sir! They are all here. The audio is also well done, with Yuzo Koshiro producing some great renditions of the original music as well as some original tracks. So Knuckle II on the Game Gear sounds perfect. Sadly, there are issues. For a start, the enemy is overpowered. They also like to surround you, making it next to impossible to escape at times. And what makes this worse is the amount of time some special moves take to pull off. There's also a bit of slowdown here and there. Still, despite these issues, Knuckle II on the Game Gear is a fantastic effort, one of the best portable fighters of the generation. When porting fighting games to a handheld console back in the day, they used to be either cutified or seriously compromised. Takara didn't do either to Fatal Fury Special on the Game Gear. What we have here is a very good, grown-up version of the Neo Geo original. Yeah, the switching playing gameplay element is gone and the speech is non-existent, but that's okay because the core gameplay is still here. Seriously, pulling off moves in this port is very easy, just as easy as the original game. I have no problems at all playing Fatal Fury Special on the Game Gear. I love how much detail Takara have put into this one, from the animated multi-parallax scrolling backgrounds to the character animation. It's all here. Even the stage palette changes from round to round, just like it should. If one-on-one fighters are your thing, you've got to check out Fatal Fury Special. Playing this on a real Game Gear is like playing a mini Neo Geo. Tempo Jr. is one of 3 games in the series, with the other 2 being on the Saturn and the original being on the 32X. This Game Gear version looks amazing. It's got animation and colours that would make anyone think it was a Mega Drive game. It even plays like an early Mega Drive game. We play as Tempo, who must travel the maze-like stages, collecting musical related items, while also searching for the golden note in order to exit the stage. Tempo can stun enemies by clicking his finger and producing a musical note projectile. Killing enemies is done by either bouncing off of their head or by a kick to the happy sack. It's all quite standard, and that's the game's problem. We've seen it all before, yet in a much faster and exciting way. I can imagine if Tempo moved faster, this would be such a good game, but sadly he doesn't. The original 32X and Saturn games also suffer from the same issue. Still, at least this is one impressive to look at game. Compile were the masters of shooters and probably behind many a shooter that you also love. Their most popular series was the Aleste series, and GG Aleste II, also known as Power Strike 2 in the West, is yet another one of their masterpieces. The formula is typical of a compile shooter. Select your starting weapon, then pick up many P icons to improve your base firepower, while the green icons power up the special attack. For a Game Gear shooter, there's a lot going on in this title. So much so, it's amazing the Game Gear can keep up. Yeah, there's some slowdown here and there, but overall, it's rather impressive. I personally love the music in this game. Compile have done well in producing memorable tunes, some of which I'd even listen to outside of the game. So 5 games down and loads more to go. What do you think of the Sega Game Gear so far? It's pretty good, isn't it? I've got to tell you, man, I've had a lot of fun making this video. But let's stop yapping, let's get a look at some more games. This is CocaCola Kid, a game developed for one reason and one reason alone, to promote Coke. But hey, at least it also launched with a cool red Game Gear. This game is as generic as they come. You play as some kid who must get Coke no matter what. You travel from right to left, making your way through the multi-directional stages with no goal at all. You don't need to collect a number of items. You don't need to kill a certain number of enemies. Just make it to the far right of the stage. CocaCola Kid also hates game characters, it would seem, as he walks around kicking the crap out of Fatal Fury's Joe Higashi and Data East's household fat boy, Karnov. The CocaCola Kid can jump, kick and dash across the screen. He's also a proper cool dude because he rides a skateboard. Cool, man. It doesn't matter though because he controls like crap, sliding all over the place. Seriously, this is one fiddly game. Best to avoid this one. The original GG Shinobi was great, but GG Shinobi 2 is even better. Everything is bigger and better in this sequel. The controls are tight and precise, making this a great playing ninja title. Gameplay is very similar to the Super Shinobi, minus the shurikens and double jump. Even the way the magic selected is the same as the Super Shinobi. Pause the game, select the magic you want, then unpause. Stages can be a little short in some cases, but the bosses do impress. Massive in size with some pretty good attack patterns to learn. I do wish the game made better use of stereo audio. I think it could have benefited greatly from a boost in audio fidelity. Still, what is here isn't bad. I just wish it was better. Back in the day, Virtua Fighter was massive, so big in fact that it had its own anime, which this game is based upon. Now obviously, the Game Gear isn't going to be able to produce a 3D fighting game, so what we have instead is a game similar to the Mega Drive version of Virtua Fighter 2. Animation is pretty impressive as you can see, but what's even cooler is the ability to play in large mode, or as I like to use, real time. What this mode does is zoom in close to the player, almost filling the screen to give an extra bit of excitement to the battle. It may look quite awkward on this video, but it really does work. There are only a handful of characters available in the game, but each of them retains most of their moves from the original Virtua Fighter games. The movesets are not always pulled off in the same way, mind you, and now we need to use the stop button as block. That's right, no quick pause feature in this game. This is Vampire Master of Darkness from Sims. This can also be found on the Master System, however the Game Gear is the one to play, thanks to the tweaked mechanics and the much more fair difficulty balance. I like to think of Vampire as the Game Gear's version of Castlevania. I mean, just give our protagonist a whip and this could well be a Castlevania game. Sadly there is no whip, but there is a wide selection of weapons. You start off with the dagger, the most useless weapon in the game. Not to worry, dotted throughout the stages are creepy white masks. Opening these will present you with new weapons, such as a hammer, an axe, or a saber. There are also a few secondary weapons which are activated by pushing up and fire, just like Castlevania. These secondary weapons can only be used if you have the ability power though. Again, just like Castlevania and its heart system. Sims have done really well presenting a dark and atmospheric game with the limited capabilities of the Game Gear. The graphics on a smaller screen look fantastic. The audio work is also worth a mention. I love the use of stereo in this game, something many developers fail to make use of on the Game Gear. The music, while not all that rememberable, does fit the game, helping the already tense gameplay become even more tense. Aimed towards a younger Game Gear player, Sailormoon doesn't have much to offer the more mature gamer. However, it can be of some entertainment value. You can play as either Sailormoon or the chibi looking girl, whatever her name may be. Areas are relatively short and may only contain a handful of enemies. These can be taken out using a variety of kick-like moves or even a throw move. You also have a projectile attack, however, it takes so long to charge it up, you may as well not bother with it. Between stages you can play one of 4 bonus games. These consist of a roulette type game, something that resembles elevator action in which you need to find the tuxedo guy, a game where you need to keep a ball-shaped cat between 2 real cats, harder than it seems, and a quiz game. Another impressive point about this game is its use of speech. Not many Game Gear games have speech, so it's always nice to hear when it is featured. The quality is rather good as well. Gunstar Heroes is considered to be one of the showcase games for the Mega Drive, so you can imagine everyone's surprise when Treasure said they were going to port it to the Game Gear. Treasure have packed in so much from the original game that it is amazing the Game Gear doesn't crash itself. Yes, it's a flickery mess, but the fact that this game is even on an 8-bit handheld in this quality is amazing. The game doesn't play as smoothly as the Mega Drive original and it does slow down a lot, but I still found it to be rather entertaining. If you want to show off to your Game Boy owning friends, then this is one title that will wow them. So there are many more Sega Game Gear games to take a look at, but we just don't have the time to take a look at them all in depth. So let's do a montage.
Sega Game Gear.
So what do you think of the Sega Game Gear now that we've seen quite a few games? It really is a good machine. In fact, I'm amazed I never knew how good it was. Yeah, I know the Game Boy was number 1 and everyone thought the Game Gear was number 2, and to be fair, it probably is. But that's not to mean it's a bad machine. There are loads of great games on this. It's just a shame that most Game Gear models these days are broken. So anyway, I hope that if you've not been a fan of the Game Gear, you've now found a new appreciation for the machine. As I said earlier, I had a lot of fun making this video, and I'm so glad I've had the chance to discover some of the games on the Game Gear. Alright guys, until next time, take it easy and keep on gaming. See ya.